Neanderthal woman's walk of love 90,000 years ago between two caves 65 miles apart. When two people fall in love, there's very little that families, cultures, or distance can do to stop it. Love springs where and when it wants. It seems almost as if it's determined by fate, and this axiom has been the wellspring of many a romantic book, play, and movie. After all, where would Romeo and Juliet be without their family's consternation and disapproval as the backdrop against which their story unfolds? Many thousands of years ago, when man was first settled and evolving in Siberia, a group settled into a cave near the Altai Mountains. The cave where they sheltered is called the Denisova Cave, and a few years ago the remains of a young woman, a 13-year-old who scientists have called Denny, was found by archaeologists. What's incredibly unique about these remains is that they contain the DNA of Neanderthals, but also those of another group called Denisovans. The latter part came from the paternal side. The Neanderthal gene sequence came from the maternal. Experts say that the cave was home to Denisovan people, of which the father was a member, but the girl's mother had to have walked more than 65 miles to arrive at the cave, a theory scientists have nicknamed the Walk of Love. In Shegreskaya Cave, remains and artifacts date the inhabitants to anywhere between 60,000 years old to 80,000. The archaeological finds in the Denisova Cave, however, date back as much as 90,000 years. What's most relevant, it seems, is that Denny's DNA has shown her to be from two distinct species. That, according to experts, is extremely unusual. When the Denisova Cave was first explored in 2018 and the remains found, one geneticist, Pontus Skoglund, told the online journal Nature in 2018 that to find a first-generation person of mixed ancestry from these two groups is absolutely extraordinary. Skoglund is with the Francis Crick Institute in London. Other artifacts found in the Denisova Cave include a beautiful bracelet, stone tools, and a tiara made of woolly mammoth hide. These people were first discovered about a decade ago, when researchers came upon a small finger bone of a woman they simply called X-woman. She lived approximately 40,000 years ago. Experts have concluded that later, when Homo sapiens arrived in Siberia, they began mixing and interbreeding with those already settled there, and ultimately developed the genetic fortitude to withstand the freezing cold temperatures of Russia and its environs. It's difficult to avoid romanticizing Denny's mother and her pursuit of the man from another cave who became Denny's father. After all, it's the plotline of every Hollywood romantic comedy. Two people of different backgrounds and families falling madly in love. Did their parents approve? Were they together in secret all those thousands of years ago in order to avoid having disapproval rain down upon them? And was Denny the much-loved result of this odd union? Or was she shunned and considered an outcast by those who lived with her? And how did she die at the tender age of 13? Most of those questions will never be answered, of course. But superimposing romantic fantasies onto Denny, and in particular her mother, who after all may have walked many miles to be with the man she loved, is a fun and harmless pastime.